Let's start. So the ingredients that we're going to be using today is half of a yellow onion, 2 plum tomatoes, tomato paste, 2 cups of couscous, 1 large cod fillet, 4 eggs, 1 whole lemon cut into 4 wedges, a cup and a half of flour, 1 bunch of broccoli cut the florets into pieces, half a bag, I would say this is like 2 cups of kale, salt, pepper, and about 10 olives cut into slices. So let's begin. We already washed it with water. We're gonna be squeezing a lemon wedge over it. Salt to taste, pepper, and there's a little piece here of lemon seed. Let's remove that. And now we're gonna put this in the skillet and we're gonna brown it on the top and in the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. To do that, we're gonna we'll be using olive oil, which is right here. So this is the skillet. We're gonna wait until it becomes warm. We're gonna add the olive oil. And we're gonna add our codfish. When you're browning, always put the presenting part of the fish, that part facing down. That's the part you want to cook first. So we're gonna put the fish downwards and we're just gonna let it brown there. We'll come back to this. So the codfish is browning on one side. The nutritional factor of cod is that cod is low in fat. It's one of those fishes that is not fatty at all. So if you're looking to have a low fat recipe, this would be it. Although this recipe has carbohydrates, so it kind of balances itself out. This also has potassium and vitamin B6, which is a great source of vitamins. So let's go ahead and flip this over. And it's gonna break apart, but it's okay because the fish will be broken apart for this recipe. And let's turn it around the other side. And we're just gonna continue browning it. So now we're gonna work on the dumpling. The dumpling is very easy recipe. I mean, it's as simple as it could get. This is a cup and a half of flour. We're gonna add salt to this. And we're gonna add water. You kind of wanna make like a dough for the dumpling. And so you're gonna be mixing this together to make a dough. You see how it's forming into a dough? And that's pretty much it. So you let it, I'm gonna cover this up with a paper and then just let it sit there because this is gonna be one of the last thing we do, but we're just pre-prep it now. I'm just cutting the tomatoes. The tomato initially, when it was first discovered, it was considered a fruit. Not how we use it, that we use it in salty foods. And it was first discovered by the Aztec Indians. It was discovered in the lower Andes part of Peru. It was then the Spanish they loved it, and they introduced it to most of Europe, and that's how we have the tomato today. But the Aztec Indians, they use this as a fruit, not for salty foods at all. So now I'm just cutting the tomatoes, putting this aside, and now I'm gonna cut the yellow onion. Okay, so the codfish now is brown on both sides, so we're gonna go ahead and remove it from the pan and put it back on here. And like I said, it's gonna break into pieces because it's codfish, and that's okay because we're gonna eat it in pieces, not in one whole fillet. So now we're gonna be cooking the couscous. The couscous you should do 2-to-1 ratio. So this is 2 cups of water. There's 4 cups of water here. Excuse me. There's 2 cups of couscous, so there's 4 cups of water. So we're just gonna add it. It's just like cooking rice. You just let it cook. Salt, a little bit of butter or oil, and just once the water has dried out, you cover it, simmer down the heat, and let it finish cooking. Same thing as the rice. Couscous was originally found in the northern part of Africa by the Berber people, but now it's like one of the main meals for Moroccan, Tunisia, and Algeria. It's really a good source of fiber, and it's kind of lighter than having a cup of rice. It just feels lighter in digestion. Added the kale and the broccoli into this tray that's going to be cooked in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to add salt on top of it, sprinkled salt, pepper. I'm also going to be squeezing a lemon wedge on top to give it that citrus flavor. And this is going to be now in the oven cooking while we continue to make the rest of the sauce and the dumplings. Turn this on. So now we're going to be doing the sauce in which the dumplings are going into it. In this sauce, we're going to be adding cooking oil. I prefer Masola, and I'm not sponsored by Masola, although I wish I was. Just because Masola claims to be cholesterol-free, heart-healthy, and I think that's amazing for oil. A lot of cooking oils do cause cholesterol, and so even though Masola is expensive, it's the only cooking oil that I will ever use. And so you have to let it warm up, heat up, and then on this pan, we're going to be adding the tomatoes, the chopped up onions. I want to cook this until this becomes like saucy and mushy. I'm going to be adding some tomato paste to this and adding some water. This is definitely a dish that you have to do it like on the weekends because it's time consuming. This is not a quick dish that you could do like when you leave work, come home, oh, let me make some codfish and dumpling with couscous. And no, this is the type of dish that it takes time, but it's so delicious and it has so many good nutritional factors that is great for you. So now to this, I'm going to add some water. Okay, so now as you see, it's simmering, it's looking fantastic, it's looking more saucy. So now we're going to add water to it. I know you guys are thinking why, but in this same sauce, we're going to be cooking the dumplings. So now we're going to let this heat up even more until it's boiling, and now we're going to start adding the dumplings to this. So now we're doing the dumplings. So this is, I added a little bit more flour to make it more like a dough, formed dough, and I just formed it into little circles. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that, and we're going to be adding the dumplings to the tomato sauce that we have simmering. Dumplings to the tomato sauce like I showed earlier. And we're going to put the fish back in here again. I made this dish especially for my daughter Anya because she likes everything to be saucy. And so this is one of the sauciest recipes that I know, and great for teenagers because high in energy because of the dumplings that has carbohydrates, so she could be energetic, do her chores that she hates to do and stuff like that. Okay. Now we're gonna add the fish back in and cut it into pieces. And people, this is looking amazing. Amazing. And whoever says it's not, I don't know what to tell you. So now we just let this cook down, let the sauce, everything just cook a little more, and we're almost done. We have the eggs here boiling. These eggs, we're gonna boil them, peel them, and they're also part of this recipe. Okay, my beautiful people, so now we're taking out the broccoli and the kale that has been baking in the oven. Healthy, because not much oil, baked, kale and broccoli, just delicious.
You can just voice over it.
Okay, my beautiful people, so this is the end result. As you can see, the codfish with dumpling over the bed of couscous, your kale, your broccoli, and your egg.